This episode really hit me in the feels. Welcome back to another My Hero Academia anime versus manga comparison video. Today we will be going over season 5 episode 107 of the My Hero Academia anime. As always, we will be seeing what was changed or how much was changed, removed, or perhaps done better from the manga to anime adaptation. Now, episode 107 is titled More of a Hero Than Anyone, which this title is a shorter version of the title for chapter 254 called You Could Be More of a Hero Than Anyone. This episode is also technically the beginning of the war arc. To start things off, episode 107 opens with Deku narrating about how their first crazy year of high school only had 3 months left in it. Here, when Deku is narrating, the anime removes scenes of the unforeseen simulation joint and an empty tournament stadium where the sports festival was held in. Another interesting removal is that when we see the outside of Class 1A, the anime makes it so we can't see the inside of Class 1A through the windows, whereas in the manga we can see through the window and see Ida telling the class what they will be doing for the day. For some change in dialogue, when Kaminari says "You're really in the zone, Ida," in the manga he originally says Ida sure does a lot of pointless engine revving. Definitely an odd change, since I really like it when characters tease other characters in creative ways by referencing their quirks. When Ida shows how he has loosened up, they remove and add in extra lines for Sero. For a small change in detail, when the students are walking out of the classroom, they head to the right in the anime, and in the manga, they go down the hall to the left. After this, when the girls are in the locker room, the anime removes Toru saying little changes anyway when talking about Ochako's new costume. For some more changes in detail, the anime tones down Jiro's reaction to how heavy Ochako's Uraraka wrists are. When the little All Might plush falls on the floor and all of the girls look at it, the anime makes it so the bench is covering Momo's cheeks. But don't worry boys, I got you. Also, Ochako in this same scene has both of her boots on. For a nice little anime only addition, the anime adds in a pretty cool scene of Ochako doing all of these flips and tricks to secure the All Might plush back. But in exchange for this pretty cool anime only scene, the anime removes Mina picking up and holding the All Might plush in her hands. Moving on, when we are in the boys' locker room and the boys are all talking about Deku mastering Black Whip, Kaminari, Deku, Mineta, and Kirishima all get some added dialogue when talking about Black Whip. When Deku gets impaled in the head by the spiky part of Bakugo's mask, Sugar Man has his costume on in the anime. After this, sadly, I'd say comes the biggest disappointment this episode, because All Might's candy joke is changed from symbol of sweets All Might in the manga to I am here, fine and dandy, with cotton candy. Also, side note, I don't know why, but I love it when All Might and other characters say certain words in English. Switching over to Aizawa and Present Mic, when the two are heading to Tartarus, the highway is different from the manga. Now, when they make it to Tartarus, I have to shout out Bones for making their walk down the hallway feel so suspenseful. The way the camera goes from Naomasa to Aizawa and Present Mic, as well as the extra added in shots of the hallway itself, was just perfect for setting the mood. In this same hallway scene though, the anime does remove Gran Torino walking alongside Naomasa, and he is instead just waiting for all of them on the outside of the Tartarus security room, which them heading to the security room is a huge change from the manga, because in the manga they all head to Kurogiri's cell instead. For some more added dialogue, Present Mic says to Aizawa to calm down when he grabs his shoulder. After this, the anime adds in 2 extra anime only scenes. The first scene is of 2 guards holding position in front of the security room, which this scene was originally just blacked out panels that led into Kurogiri's cell. Also, the second scene is them all being in the Tartarus security room with the guards monitoring Kurogiri. Now, even though the anime diverged a little from the manga by having everyone head to the security room instead of Kurogiri's cell, all of the dialogue and characters' reactions that took place in Kurogiri's cell remain the same. The only real difference is that instead of them all standing in front of a sedated Kurogiri himself, they are all in the security room looking at a screen showing a sedated Kurogiri. Moving on, when we see Aizawa's flashbacks about Shirakumo, the anime adds in a lot of stuff, as well as removes some detail when it comes to Shirakumo and Present Mic. First off, the anime adapts and merges some scenes from the My Hero Academia spin-off series series called Vigilantes into the first set of Shirakumo flashbacks. The first shot of the flashback showing the old school trio in front of UA was originally from chapter 62 of Vigilantes, but the anime adds in Shirakumo and a young present Mike in the shot alongside Aizawa. In the next shot showing the three of them goofing around, the anime removes the background entirely, not showing the UA entrance. Now, the scene showing Shirakumo telling Aizawa and present Mike that they should start a hero agency together is drastically changed. The anime removes the goggles on top of Shirakumo's head, which I'm not sure why that detail was removed, since those goggles are a big part of his character. The anime also adds in a scene showing all of them walking across the street, which at this point there seems to be this ongoing crosswalk Beatles reference throughout the series. When Shirakumo talks about their hero agency together, the conversation no longer takes place inside the school and now takes place somewhere outside by a boulder. This scene also takes some lines of dialogue from chapter 62 of the Vigilantes spin-off when Shirakumo brings up the idea of starting an agency together while they are all having lunch. The anime also does add in new lines of dialogue as well. For another little detail removed from this scene is that present Mike no longer has this toothpick or lollipop in his mouth. After this, the anime adapts a scene from chapter 62 of Vigilantes showing Aizawa looking down in horror because of Shirakumo's death. Now, those were a lot of changes in the first set of flashbacks, but I'm really glad some things from Vigilantes got adapted into the anime. Moving on, when Aizawa realizes that Kurogiri might actually be Shirakumo and he talks about him not abandoning a cat, the anime removes Shirakumo saying "hang on there" to the cat in the mini flashback showing Shirakumo and the cat. After this, the anime adds in a scene showing present Mike realizing from what Aizawa said that Kurogiri's true identity might indeed be Shirakumo. In the anime, when Shirakumo first meets Aizawa, he is shown standing and introducing himself to Aizawa in an empty classroom. In the manga, on the other hand, he is introducing himself to Aizawa sitting down during class. Also, Aizawa sliding away from Shirakumo was a funny little detail added into the anime. When Gran Torino mentions the kids Aizawa expelled, the anime doesn't adapt the panel showing Gran Torino saying it, so all we get to hear is his voice over the speaker in the anime. After this, when Class 2A is talking about them seeing Aizawa looking grumpy, the anime adds in a scene showing Aizawa walking down the hallway earlier in the day looking pretty grumpy. The anime also adds in this beetle looking student who was the one who had nightmares about Aizawa expelling them. For some details removed, the movement of Aizawa taking off his goggles is toned down a lot. Also, whenever the prison guard monitoring Kurogiri's brainwaves says something, we never get to see him actually talk in the anime during this whole interrogation section, unlike in the manga. So right as Kurogiri stops spazzing out and seems to be back to normal, the anime adds in a shot of the monitor showing that his brainwaves have gone back to normal. When the shape of Kurogiri's fog moves, revealing that underneath lies Shirakumo, the anime removes present Mike's initial reaction. Also, I just want to say big shout out to the voice actors for present Mike and Aizawa during this episode, especially during the interrogation and the reveal that Kurogiri's true identity is Shirakumo. You honestly could really hear the hurt in these characters' voices when they see that their friend was really turned into this monster. Truly fantastic work to everyone who worked on this episode. Moving on, the anime doesn't adapt the panel showing Naomasa, the guards, and Gran Torino watching from the side, and replaces it with a shot of Kurogiri's brainwaves going crazy. The Tartarus guards' line of dialogue is also changed as well to better fit the change. For a welcome change, the anime adds in a shot showing Shirakumo's perspective with him seeing both Aizawa and present Mike yelling at him to fight it. When Kurogiri powers down, the anime doesn't adapt this panel showing a close-up of Aizawa and present Mike at the window. For another change in detail, the Hero Commission building in the anime lacks an incredible amount of detail compared to the manga. The anime also removes the president of the Hero Commission getting Naomasa's call and just adds in her finishing up that call to then getting that message of the hospital out to Hawks. After Hawks gets the message, instead of Hawks going back to teaching twice about the Meta Liberation Army like in the manga, Hawks ends up leaving to go buy him and twice something to drink instead. And finally, for the final change in the anime, at the end of the episode, the anime removes the sound effects and Shigaraki laughing from Dr. Ujiko's experiment on him. The blood in this scene is also almost non-existent in the anime compared to the manga. Episode 107 then ends showing Shigaraki going through Dr. Ujiko's painful experiment to gain more power. Now, episode 107 covers a total of 3 chapters from the My Hero Academia manga, them being chapters 253, 254, and 255, with the episode also adapting some content from chapter 62 and 64 of Vigilantes. Now, this episode was fantastic and I really enjoyed it a lot. Plus, this episode was technically the beginning of possibly one of the best arcs in the series so far, in my opinion, that being the War Arc. And I can't wait to see the War Arc be fully animated in season 6. As for my dislikes of the episode, I wasn't too very fond of the anime censoring out almost all of the blood when we got to see Shigaraki undergoing the experiment, which does have me a little bit worried about the My Villain Academia arc that starts in the next episode. Hopefully this will end up being something that comes back in the anime's Blu-ray release. Aside from that, I'm really hyped that in episode 108 we will be finally getting the amazingness that is the My Villain Academia arc. Hopefully this ends up being worth the wait. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the changes made in episode 107. How do you feel about the anime censoring out all of that blood? Are you hoping that the Blu-ray release will end up bringing back all of that blood? Let me know everything in the comment section below. With that said, thank you for watching another My Hero Academia anime versus manga comparison video. I'm so sorry that I was sick for this video. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to Detroit smash that like button below, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. If you are new to the channel and you want to see more My Hero Academia content, then be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on to join the Kitoroki Hero Academia to become my hero. Doing all of this really does help the channel out a lot, and it's always appreciated. Remember to stay plus ultra, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.